Hey everybody, welcome back. It's E5. That is 2 more E's than E3, and we are still here. We're still giving you the greatest content the world has ever seen. We've had an amazing lineup of just really cool stuff today, and why don't we just continue that right now with one of the greatest panels of all time? That's right. It's time to talk about the Shacknews Stimulus Games. I am your panel moderator, co-editor in chief of Shacknews, Blake Morse, and I am joined today by just legends of the Shacknews Stimulus Games. I'm going to go through and introduce everybody really quick so we can get the ball rolling. Starting in the top left corner of my screen, EyeQ. How are you doing today?
Hey, I'm good. How's everybody doing?
Doing good, man. You have held the Shacknews Stimulus Games belt in your hands several times throughout the last year or so. You even competed in our Tournament of Champions just a few weeks ago as well. So welcome to you, good sir. And yes, then of course my wonderful co-host and news editor for Shacknews.com, the one and only TJ Denzer. How are you doing today?
Beep, 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 beep. Air horn, air horn. Yes, I'm happy to be here.
All right, so getting hyped. All right. Next up, we have competitor and professional funny man, Kieth Lowell Jensen. How are you doing today, Kieth?
I'm doing good. Remember that time in Stimulus Games when I didn't come in last?
No.
No, I didn't. There was a time.
I have
dare
recorded
you?
somewhere.
All right. Well,
Right. We've got proof.
I'm proud of you, even if you just get one of those little millennial participation trophies, Keith.
Thanks, Blake.
So, it doesn't matter what place you come in with me.
Well, speaking of which, I haven't yet gotten my trophy. Is that on the way, or?
No, you didn't.
You actually have to buy it with the money you get from the stimulus game.
Yeah.
Go down to the trophy store with a little permission slip you printed out.
A Shacker literally did that multiple times last year for Wreckfest. Like he got, he placed like 3rd place in the tournament, and he's like 3rd best at Wreckfest.
Nice.
That's a trophy.
I need more trophies in my house. That's a good. I'm gonna start doing that.
Yeah. There's no rule against buying them for yourself.
No. You should. Nevin, another one of our competitors and a member of our AV crew, who was also competing in our Tournament of Champions a few short weeks ago. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Always good to be back on.
All right. And then next up, we have Adam Davis of Narboots and Omnigon fame. How are you doing today, Adam? Are you having a Scott-tastic day?
I'm great, Blake. I'd also like to bring up that I came in absolute last place last time I did the Stimulus Games.
Were you just above Keith or below Keith, rather?
Even with Aaron Carnes?
Wanted me, but I was definitely last place. Aaron did good.
Yeah, Aaron did really good. Yeah, he did fantastic, actually. Just like our buddy Mega Ran usually does in our Shacknews Stimulus Games.
Hey, I'm usually somewhere in the middle of the pack. I am consistently mediocre. That's my tagline.
But you've taken the belt home before. It's happened.
I have once. I have.
All right, you remember it fondly.
I do. I'll never forget.
You could buy yourself a trophy.
Oh.
I just found out.
I heard you could buy those. Really?
Yeah.
Just walk into a shop. You don't have to do nothing even. You don't even have to be in the Stimulus Games. You just feel it down. Just buy yourself a trophy and have them be like,
I gotta do that more often.
Yeah, Mega Ran of the Year 2021.
Yeah. And then, of course, last but not least, the man, the myth, the legend, Shacknews luminary, Asif Khan. Asif, we would not even be doing the Stimulus Games if it weren't for your generosity.
I mean, it all started in March of 2020 when the world went to shit.
Yeah,
and basically all of our well-laid plans at Shacknews completely crumbled in on themselves after spending about 6 months planning a really awesome year. Yep. So we were like, what the fuck are we supposed to do now? And what especially was bothering me was that we had put together a really awesome, talented team to execute live stream events, and esport events specifically. Nevin being one of that team, part of the team. So the Stimulus Games were born out of trying to create work for these guys because there was going to be a lot of work for them in 2020, and it overnight evaporated. And I was like, it didn't sit well with me that we had all these guys that we had brought on and there wasn't going to be anything to do. So I was like, what if we just create work for people? And I know Kieth and Adam have both mentioned that they haven't won a Stimulus Games. But I think the genius of the Stimulus Games is that there is no prize money. Everyone gets paid the exact same amount to participate. And then it's for bragging rights, which honestly is still worth a lot to people, especially what we've seen last year and into this year. Last year with the live stream team, the rivalries between Clay and Nevin and Alex and Bill, like that didn't exist really. Like we had played a couple of games together, you know, at the Quakeholio tournament or whatever, but like there's legit rivalries that were born out of that. And that's just one example. See the same thing over in the nerdcore scene with like Richie Branson, who like came in second. He was like the Avis of the Stimulus Games, right? And like that became a narrative. And like, believe me, the other artists were letting him know. And it kind of became a meme almost. So like, I think it's been awesome to see this like, you know, it's obviously something that does not generate revenue for Shacknews. It's quite the opposite. We're taking money out of my pocket. We're just giving it to people. But it's because so many creative people suffered last year and they felt helpless that I was like, we have an opportunity to do something. I had this money that we were going to put towards prize pools for Smash tournaments or whatever. And I was like, why not do something good with this? Why not create some kind of positivity? And early on, if you remember, like people were stuck at home. There were no sports going on. We're like, let's give something for the people to watch on Saturday. Was kind of another thing. You know, we didn't have a Shacknews stream on Saturday at the time. So that was kind of another element of it. So that was the genesis of it. But yeah, we really, it was a pivot. It was born out of a pivot. But I think it's been wildly successful. It's brought in a lot of people together from all sorts of different disciplines. And I love this season where we're bringing the different groups together. I always tell, when Blake and I were talking about this earlier in the year, I was like, it's like the Jetsons meets the Flintstones episode, you know? And I think that's cool. Like, I think that Shacknews, we have our own vibe about things. We're independent. We're not owned by a conglomerate. And I won't name names, but there's a lot bigger websites out there that haven't done shit for their communities in the last year. And those communities are bigger than ours and suffering just as much. There haven't been charity tournaments. There haven't been these things. And the idea of a boss battle, I'm pretty sure bringing a boss battle to esports, I'm pretty sure we invented that.
We invented that while shopping at Walmart at like midnight in Texas.
Yes.
Like it was because we were like, we were trying to figure out something cool and unique we could do. And like, a couple of like our staff members like were eyeing those NES minis that were super hard to come by at the time, and we're like, well, what if we like just have people from our team take on people in the competition for their own prizes, right?
And then when it came to the final boss battle of the Quakeholio tournament, and this is going to be true of this year's as well as last year's, I'm not sure who's going to be in the final boss battle this year, but if you win the final boss battle of the Great Quakeholio tournament, you win double the prize money. So the Great Quakeholio tournament kind of exists outside of the Stimulus Games. There is a prize pool. It's about being the best or whatever. But yeah,
the boss battle origin is there.
Yeah, we took the boss battle from that and we brought it to the Stimulus Games, and it works like flawlessly.
Yeah.
So it's been some of the funniest content I think that we've done at the Stimulus Games has been watching Blake rage when Clay beats him in Mario Kart.
Oh my god. So
if I could bottle that and just like sell it, whatever that feeling is, just Blake's face when he loses to Clay in Mario Kart in a boss battle. Oh, it's delicious.
I've seen that face on TJ's face when I beat him at Tekken.
I'm
As
usually
well.
like the most
Yeah.
chipper person in the world, and that one moment is just like the most I think I've ever glowered on camera.
I've never seen that face on you before, and like, yeah, and just the other week, EyeQ, you came in first in 2 separate games in a row, but you got beat by 1 point and a boss battle, basically.
Yeah, because the boss battle, basically, just to break down for folks who, if you're not watching the Stimulus Games, what the hell's wrong with you? But
You're missing it.
yeah, like first place gets 10 points, second place gets 5, third place gets 1, but the first place player gets to play in a boss battle and they can double their points. So that's what you're talking about, Blake, where a 1 point victory occurred because of an amazing, it was like a third place and then a first place and a boss battle win. Yeah, I think the boss battle is like one of the coolest things that we do in the Stimulus Games, and it's an added bonus for me because a lot of the time I'm just handing out money left and right. Sure, that's fun or whatever, random acts of kindness, all that good stuff, but watching my own staff suffer.
Thank you. I'm glad that I can work 6 days a week from you, and then you can get some Schadenfreude from me getting my ass kicked in Mario Kart.
Absolutely.
I'm glad I could be there for you, Asif.
Look, it's been a rough time for everyone during the pandemic, right? You know, I'm isolated here in Canton, Ohio, and Canton, Ohio, I don't know if you've ever been to Northeast Ohio. It's not some bustling metropolis of economic activity on a good day, let alone a pandemic. So it really has brightened my Saturdays, being able to turn that on, watch someone lose in Brawlhalla or Power Rangers, or those times where maybe I saw someone getting their butt kicked in Rocket League too much, so I ran in to maybe help them out. I think that there's just a really fun, carefree environment, which is different than most esports. Esports are like strict, and everyone's wearing suits, and it's like high production value and all that stuff. And I'm not saying our production value is poor or anything, but like, if you watch the international, right, there's like 8 different language broadcasts for the international, and like, Shacknews, we have TJ and Blake, they're sitting there talking about, and then sometimes
bad shit.
And like, what I love about it is like our competitors are also talking shit as it's going on. So like, we don't have this like prim and proper attitude. Like, we're having fun, and I always say this just in general about the culture of our site and our company. It's video games. It should be fun. Like, so like, it's a very simple thing to say, but implementing that across a whole thing has been interesting. It's wild to see how far we've come. From that first games to now, like, it's crazy.
Speaking of that, Nevin, you were there for the first games, and like you're like day one, man, zero day even. Like, what's like the experience been for you in the last year or so? As we continue to do this,
man, for real, it's been a real beacon in a lot of these dark times because, like Asif was saying, we had things planned out. We were going to be going down to Texas, going and touring over the country, and that was like a lot of work and things set up, and then everything just came to a screeching halt. Yeah. And for a while, felt like was in limbo and just kind of stuck there. But then you guys hit us up when you're like, hey, this isn't happening, but you want to get together and play some games, make some money? I was like, yeah. And it was great to, reconnect with the team that I was going to be with. And seeing people not within these 4 walls, that helped out so much. And every time, like a new tournament would come up on a Saturday, always looking forward to it.
Nice. Yeah, I feel that, man. I definitely feel that. Yeah, it was really constrained. Like, for the last year or so, like, this has been most of the socializing I've personally done too, as we went through the game. So yeah, and it's always experience because, like, I think one thing about the AV team is like when you're working with people in situations like that are very intense, like you bond really quickly with folks and like you share that experience. So yeah, like, you know, I've worked with
What,
Sex
you mean
Building-
like 5 minutes before going live at the Quakeholio tournament when every Steam account got locked?
Yeah, and
Jesus.
we all sat. It was amazing to watch, honestly, because
Yeah.
nobody panicked. Everybody we got together in a huddle and we worked it out. Within 5 minutes, we had a game plan. We pivoted. Everything went off like smooth as silk from there.
Yeah,
You
and
know?
like, to your point, I think moments like that definitely brought this team together. And like, you know, we were going out at night for dinner every night that week, and you know, it's just weird. Like, we tried our best to create work for people, but so much of what our plans were last year were tied to being at South by Southwest, at Comic Con, at E3, at QuakeCon, at PAX, you know, at Tokyo Game Show. So like, it was a huge pivot to figure out, can we do this? Can we still have an esports feel to it? Can we keep our vibe to it? And can we make it fun? Can we do right by people? But I really go back to that point that I wanted it to be equitable to every participant. I thought it would be messed up to have people give up their Saturdays and then maybe win some money. You know? Like, I thought that was the line where I was like, nah, we need to make this a sure thing. People need certainty right now, or they needed it then more than ever. So yeah, I think that was, to Nevin's point, like, yeah, I think the certainty was a huge value that we added.
Yeah. And then one of the groups, I believe, like Megaran, you basically helped us put together our first external group when we brought in basically people from the nerdcore scene. You know, that you actually introduced us to EyeQ. You know, and that's how we became friends as well.
Oh, nice. I like to, you know, if I can, I try to connect cool people with cool people, man. And yeah, I'm glad to be able to do that, man. You asked me like for different folks in the nerdcore scene who would be interested and getting down, and yeah, it's been great to see all of my like friends come together. There's another, you know, cool thing that's happened, you know, with us having so much time at home, like just like it's been said, the time that we spend here, you know, on streams has been the most of my, you know, socializing. And yeah, like looking forward to Saturdays to be able to sit and laugh with the guys, some that I hadn't seen for years, you know, was really cool, you know, and building new friendships and playing games together has been, it's been great. Like it really has been. So I'm happy to hear that you guys have been able to make connections outside of that. So it's been super fun, and it's been like, not even to mention the financial godsend it's been, you know, to, you know, come in clutch. Like literally every day I'm buying a new piece of equipment, you know, trying to make the stream better, trying to constantly improve, and that stuff costs money. So every little bit helps, man, so much. So it's been super fun.
Nice. I mean, what was it? I mean, like I hit you up about this, and like, what was like your initial like thought, and then what was it like that like first time we did it for you?
My initial thought was no, I'm just kidding. No, it was it's funny that we're here for the E5 coverage when we reconnect, it seems almost yearly back in the old world, Blake and I.
Yeah.
You know, we've crossed paths at so many of his different, you know, stops throughout life, and same for myself. So yeah, we interviewed in person at the E4 stuff, right? I believe we did some stuff during E3.
Yeah, we had to at our
You were at our last E3 booth, Megaran. You were interviewed at which I think will likely go down as the last actual E3, because we had a funeral for it shortly after that. But yeah, like I think yeah, we, you know, hell, we toured Japan together. You know, it's like there's that too. But yeah, I think it's I saw your news this week. I wanted to bring it up because I was really excited. You, Schaefer, the Dark Lord, MC Frontalot, MC Lars, who have all been consistently on the Nerdcore Stimulus Games, and I've gotten to know them through the internet, are coming to Northeast Ohio in October. And I was like, oh shit,
yeah.
I'm actually gonna meet some people. You know?
Yeah.
Like it's weird. Like I know them. We've played games together for like over a year, but like
Yeah.
you never really, you know, I've met you, Mega, right? Like I know you, but like it's different. Like I was super like it's gotta feel amazing to be able to just list that tour list after all the uncertainty we've had to deal with.
Oh yeah. For sure. It's so cool to see like a light at the end of the tunnel a little bit. You know, people are getting vaxxed. People are making plans again. And it feels good to see the other side of this, because a lot of folks didn't make it, man. You know, not to get, you know, morbid, but you know, a lot of folks didn't, you know, and not even just like not being here, but like they're probably seriously considering career changes at this point. You know, like independent artists can't just take a year and a half off and just hope and pick up, you know, it like you can't.
And
so we've been really lucky.
Yeah,
I mean, that was a lot of the motivation on my part, was like, I've been lucky. Like, I'm that lucky guy that owned Apple for 20 years and it went to the moon and I'm a millionaire or whatever. So I'm like, I was like, how can I pay this forward? And I love music. I love art. I love any kind of creative expression. So I was like, those people were adversely being affected. And Nevin's team, like anyone who was out there doing events at venues, you know, those people that like needed crowds for their job, for their livelihood, like they were adversely affected. And I feel like we gave you guys a bridge to get back to these tours, to get back to work, you know, and that's like, that was like, I didn't think we were going to do this for multiple industries or anything at the time, but like, I'm happy to see that, like, when I saw that flyer yesterday, I was so fucking happy. I was like, you guys fucking made it. You know what I mean? Like, we got to that other side. And, like, it is I don't know, I watch Pat McAfee show a lot. That guy, every day, he screams that we beat COVID. And it's like a dangerous thing to say. But it feels undeniably better than it did a year ago, or 6 months ago, or 3 months ago. And I think, like, that's just, it feels good. Like that announcement, man, I was super stoked for you guys.
Yeah. So I mean, I think Adam, you can kind of like speak to that too, because you started a ska band like right before the pandemic hit, and like you guys hit the ground running, and then you just like it must have felt like hitting a wall like when the pandemic started in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I'd gone from a few years of a stay-home dad, and had just gotten to the point where my boys are old enough that I feel like it's safe to go out and do stuff. And so I just started a new band, and we put out an album and played 4 shows, and we were booking a bunch of stuff. And the pandemic hit, and we had to cancel a show that was about 2 weeks out. And then there on out, you know, it just kept stretching on and on into the future. And it's weird to have an album that's out that people have heard and have it be old at this point. And I know a lot of bands have put out albums during the pandemic, and you know it's going to be a good year before they're able to play their album release show. And that sort of situation has never existed before. It's been really, really weird.
But at the same time, like, boy, has, I would say, music and comedy, have they been super valuable during the pandemic to your end users, right? Like, think about how many Netflix specials or Amazon Prime specials that people have watched to give them some sort of happiness just for a brief moment. Think how many Megaran songs they've listened to, or EyeQ songs, you know, or like, just, I feel like the value of art did not go away at all during the pandemic. It was just the methods of which artists were able to monetize their art got so limited that it's I commend anyone that didn't give up during that time period, because
we were scrambling to put it out there in so many weird ways, and we were doing Zoom shows. We're making memes. And I have to tell you, like, inviting other comedians to do the stimulus games, the response was like, wait, what? We get to talk shit on each other and play video games and it pays? Like, because the Zoom shows didn't pay well and we were cool with that. People were like, God, I can give you $20. And we're like, yeah, because I know you're not getting any money either, But then the stimulus games, it was like, it was perfect for the format because we're playing video games and we're talking smack, which is what comedians do all the time anyway, and it's funny and it's entertaining, but just for each other. Like, we got to take the thing that we were already doing and put it out there, and it paid. And the thing no one's mentioning, it didn't only pay, but we got free video games. That's the greatest thing in the world. I have been jealous of Blake for so long for getting free video games. Blake's like, oh, Keith, it's not all just playing video games. I'm like, whatever, you get free video games. So, but yeah, like as comedy pivoted and tried to survive, the games were a godsend. That was so cool. I had done so many Zoom shows and other weird things, and every one of us, every comedian on the planet started a podcast, including me. The best thing was the stimulus games. That was super, super fun.
Nice.
Yeah.
No,
Killing me that
really
I
cool.
can't do it every time it's offered. And I'm like, oh no, I gotta go to my stupid nephew's graduation. How dare he?
Man, but like no, when like the first comedian one we ever did was one of the funniest experiences of my life. Like, the amount of ridiculous smack talk that went on there was incredible, and it's like something I've really been trying to encourage the smack talk aspect of the stimulus games, because I want that WWE vibe. I want those rivalries. I want people like, I mean, and like, but like the thing about the WWE too is like those people go and have dinner with each other afterwards and shit like that. It's a fun spectacle. It's a great story to tell.
Electronic sports entertainment.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
There you go.
It's all the work.
Trademark.
Trademark.
You were
I
about
like
to
that.
say something. I don't know if you wanted to jump back in.
I think it was.
I need that on a shirt though.
Or-
Electronic sports entertainment.
okay, I'll get right on that.
Yeah, that is dope. I think it was great to be able to just, like, first and foremost, just to see everybody, right? To watch everything kind of just melt in a matter of days that you worked on, like, all year or 4 years, was really hard, right? But there was something about just being able to hang out and play video games with everybody that just lifted my spirits so much, right? If only
For sure.
just for a little while, it felt like one of the greatest things for me. I barely leave the crib, right? And I've been isolated a whole lot. So to see everybody, to be able to talk, and even outside of that, right? Just to be able to hang out and talk crap for a little while, or be reminded that there are other people out there, like, that are in the same space. It was definitely just man, it was a godsend. So I can't thank you guys enough. Like, aside from the fact that not everybody was getting unemployment or things of that nature. So, for me, it helped me do so much, that it made, like, it helped. I can't say enough how much it helped, because I watched my entire world disappear in 2 days, you know? Yeah, I can't say enough about that. I just can't.
Oh, man, I mean, like, I got, one of the greatest things about doing the stimulus games for me is being able to facilitate like these connections, like, not only like, getting people money that they desperately need, but like expanding that community and connecting people, because I fucking love art. I love artists. I love being around creative types and hanging out with them and spending time with them. And like, so often everybody is just running around like crazy. Like, we've all got shows and tours, and we're working on albums and stuff like that. Like, having time to actually sit down and have like interpersonal time and connect on a level like beyond just, oh, we're all artists and musicians and creative types. Like, it's it's thrilling, and it's like it's great to meet and hang out and have these like sort of more intimate moments with people whose work I admire. You know, like
And to kill us at video games.
yeah, to talk mad shit and to belittle and berate you, in a
also,
public forum.
Like talking about the giving people a voice, though. Like if you go back and you watch all the stimulus games, we talk about some real shit. Like we went through the entire pandemic, right, and the civil unrest of the summer, and we weren't afraid to talk about shit with the guests, and like have actual conversations and let them have a sounding board for their frustrations or how they felt about things that were going on. And I just think that, like, once again, you wouldn't get that in a traditional esports environment. You wouldn't get that in a mainstream games media website. Like they're not even thinking about that stuff. And then hell, whenever they do, they have to delete articles and shit. So like I think yeah.
Oh, shots fired.
No, not even. I'm just saying, like, no shade. I'm just saying, like, they tried to do something good, and look what happened. Like, it's tough. You put yourself out there, and like, yeah, it's money. It's been a lot of money, but like, I look at how it has benefited everyone that's been involved, and I'm like, that money did more good out there with you folks than it would have sitting in a bank account, or I don't know, buying another Tesla or something stupid. I don't know what I would do.
Well, you could have bought me a Tesla.
Okay.
I'll take a Tesla. Are we doing Teslas?
Yeah, everyone look under your seats.
If
There's no Tesla there.
You get a Tesla.
All I got was a cat.
If
Everybody got a Tesla.
Maybe I'll get you guys some.
If GME goes to 2,000, all right. It's got that recorded, by the way.
Not everyone watching this.
Tune in.
TJ, you've been a bit quiet, but I'm really curious. What does the Stimulus Games mean to you, man, as my co-host and compatriot, my partner in crime, and my co-boss, who we've had some fun casual rivalries together. How do you feel, man?
I've been stewing on this a lot while I've been listening to everybody talk, and like the answer is freaking everything. Because not a lot of people know this, but like I came on to Shacknews in late 2019, and like COVID was starting to be a thing, but nobody knew how severe it was going to be yet. We were still planning our year. I have been in freelance journalism and with different outlets for a while, and like when I came into Shacknews, I knew I knew Asif and I knew Blake and I knew some of the Shacknews team even before I got here, and I recognized the talent at this place and I recognized good people here, and I was ready to deliver. Like I have been all over the world, traveling to like Germany and LA and Las Vegas and all these different events where I chased stories, talked to people, and like that is the environment in which I thrive. And I was ready to bring that to Shacknews. And COVID stole that from me. We had the one event for the Shacknews Game of the Year talks in 2019, and then PAX South in 2020 was my last event, and like it was like John Wick. COVID killed that from me. And I was like really upset and bitter over it for a long time. And so when the stimulus games started, like we've had staff stimulus games, but like for a lot of these other ones, we're really not required to be there. Even when I wasn't hosting, I sat in on just about every Saturday because this is special to me. This is cool what we do. This is awesome what we do. And like I was sitting in so much that Bill was hosting for a while, and Bill asked me, "Do you want to like start hosting it?" And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to be anywhere else. I might as well.
Yeah.
And since I've picked this up and sort of played the record keeper for this, it's like it is such a cool feeling to like talk with everybody, meet everybody, and then also either make or break their dreams when I announce the points at the end of the whole competition.
Just rubbing lemon in
You
that
wheel
wound that IQ's got.
The
Oh,
power,
man.
the
The
power
salt
of that
is real.
spreadsheet is so strong.
Oh, Jesus.
The amount of work that I put into that spreadsheet too. Like I repurposed an entire challenge account just for the stimulus games this year. And yeah, I take that shit super serious. Like I love this event. I love everything about it. I love the adaptations that we like, the adapting on the fly that we sometimes have to do. Every time we pick a new game, Blake and I have to like on the air live figure out how is this going to work. And
we try to test stuff beforehand, but we don't necessarily have a group of 8 people to test it with.
Yeah.
So
Well,
like
sometimes there's just problems that appear with more people involved.
we're
that you
also
didn't see.
like we're also just extremely busy people, so there's only so much we can test before we go live. And like it's funny sometimes, just like we always adapt, we always figure it out, and that's kind of also the fun of this. It's just figuring it out and making it work on the fly.
I've hated some of your choices, and then playing it with everyone else, totally fell in love with them. Duck Game, I was like, oh, I don't even... Duck Game, really? You guys? And then by the end of that Saturday,
so
I was
fun.
like, oh, you play Duck Game. This is great.
It's
You
so
just
fun.
murder each other. It's fantastic.
That was
game is
Slap City for me.
ridiculous.
No, I love that about it because we really do introduce people to games. Like I know, like Megaran, you stream a lot, and like I've seen situations where you play a game at the Stimulus Games on Saturday, and then on your Monday or Tuesday stream, you're playing it again. I'm like, aha, Megaran's into it.
I've definitely seen Battle
Absolutely.
for the Grid make the rotation.
Oh yeah, all my
Oh,
friends
yeah.
can't get enough of Battle for the Grid and Brawlhalla. Super fun. Anything with great net code and cross-platform, and you guys do a great job of picking games that are like that. So yeah, we wind up just getting into them. My friends can't stop talking about Battle for the Grid now.
Oh, it's
It's
so
really
great.
good.
It's
Like-
a good game, man.
It's like a
It really
legit
is.
Yeah.
game, and it's because there's like a giant Marvel-shaped hole in the FGC right now that like Power Rangers Battle for the Grid's legit. Like
Yeah.
you can
Who
play
would have
it.
What
thought?
makes it
Yeah,
dope-
They
like
just put in Ryu and Chun-Li. I mean, come on.
They keep putting work in. Like
they
I
keep
think the thing I
working
love
on
the
it. That's
most
big.
is they keep putting that work in. Like
Yeah.
from when we started playing to now, it's even better as a game, right?
Mhm.
Like, and that's really dope. The other cool thing is like you guys game, right? So it was like when you lose in a boss battle, man, it really is just like I gotta get better, right? Because there's so many games you're not used to, but you want to at least get good enough to be competitive, right? So it's just like, okay, we gotta, every time we get an announcement, I jump straight in and I'm like, nope, I'm practicing. I want to be competitive.
One of
You
my
know,
favorite Stimulus Games back when I was hosting it. It was the AV Super Challenge, I think 2, and I set it up where each of them had to 1v1 me in Tecmo Bowl,
Oh God.
and it was point differential because none of them could fucking. None of them got even close to beating me. But like we turned.
Should have been
what we're
around for
talking
that.
about.
I'm actually decent in Tecmo Bowl. I should have been around for that one.
I'll see you on
day.
anytime, Mega Ran.
For what you wish for.
Tecmo.
Cleveland
There
Browns
was-
man over here.
The Browns.
one where-
Uh-oh.
Yeah, I'll beat you with the Browns.
Really
All right, I'm
quickly,
putting $5 on Ran.
I'm the Eagles. I don't know.
well, neither of
You
you,
be Eagles, baby.
neither of you picked the Raiders, so both of y'all are blowing it. And...
yo, 49ers, man, 49ers had
neighborhood.
golden plays.
But
Yeah, they
like
did.
to IQ's point though, like you think about those boss battles in Rocket League, there's people who got PTSD about those because
Yeah.
like we've put up 11, 20 goals, like crazy amounts of
Dude,
points have been scored.
And boss battles, like, we seriously don't want to fucking lose those. Like,
Yeah,
I get
Bennigan's is on the line.
yeah, we got Meals at Bennigan's on the line, which Which is like, honestly, the Bennigan's thing is like one of my favorite like running jokes throughout the whole damn thing. Like being able to be like, tonight we died in Bennigan's, stuff like that, you know, and like giving people guilt trips about taking food out of our mouths. You know, I'm a hefty boy. I want a big
I love how
Bennigan's
salty
meal.
you are when Clay beats you, especially. Like,
Oh, yeah.
because like I know eventually the live stream team is going to be working together again,
Yeah.
and like
We're gonna be like,
there's
Clay.
going to be, like, a
Clay, I know
moment-
you're the technical director, but you're going to get everyone coffees right now. Like that's gonna happen, and it's
so
gonna be.
coming.
Yeah.
There's this payoff that's coming from this. Like I cannot wait for it. So I'm like looking forward. I really am looking forward to doing like a live event again someday. But like this year,
Oh man,
kind of just taking a.
I can't wait till
off.
we can all get together and just have a week of stimulus games.
Yeah, like a legit
man.
in-person stimulus games would be really fun because we can
Oh
play
my
because we don't have to worry about netcode. I can kick our asses in Mario Golf or something. You know, like yeah, I know new Mario Golf's gonna have netcodes. Maybe we'll add that.
We'll do Mario Golf with mini golf.
Yeah,
Like we'll play
Oh,
mini
shit.
golf out while we're playing Mario Golf and see who wins.
all I say is you guys are lucky that you didn't have to play me in a boss battle in Tony Hawk.
Oh man,
You are. You really
Wow.
are. I did crush everyone at the Tony Hawks the other week.
Yeah, I
though.
know. If you did it, like think of that. I'm just saying.
So really quickly, because you know I know folks we're closing in on the hour and stuff like that. I'd love to know what your favorite stimulus game or moment has been, and if you're comfortable sharing like some of the stuff that you've done with the stimulus money, if you wouldn't mind talking a little bit about that. Once again, I'm starting with EyeQ, just going down the top of my list.
Honestly, I'd say my favorite moment was probably beating Richie like the week after or whenever the next one was, like after he had won one finally, and coming back and destroying him felt like the best thing ever. And you know, we talk crap, so it was just kind of like I came to destroy, and Richie had like a target on his forehead. That made me feel amazing. Another one is actually a crushing defeat where you actually beat me in Power Rangers, right? Even though I was salty for the loss, right? I felt so good because you actually took the time to design a team to beat me. And that made me feel amazing. I was like, I'm going to see you next time because now we're actual rivals. You know, like,
Yeah,
that felt good. It just felt good.
right.
And you know, like as far as what I've done with the money, it's been used to for food. It's been used, you know, like for streaming equipment. It's literally been used for essentials that I just didn't have. So for me, you know, like you guys really helped me out because I didn't have a second source of income. It you know, like trying to figure things out when everything just went to a close. So for me, you know, that's what it did. It literally put food in my mouth. So, you know, that helped a lot.
Well, good, man.
That's amazing.
Definitely don't want you going hungry, buddy. TJ, you got a game or moment, and what's the best Bennigan's meal you've had so far?
So inside the stimulus games, there was one where we played Mortal Kombat 11 on the Switch one weekend,
Oh yeah.
and everybody was like playing their way through, and like Asif says about Tony Hawk, like nobody knew that I took Mortal Kombat 11 and made it into the qualifier pools at Evo one year in 2019. Like I am.
You hit it from me too. He didn't tell me about it either.
And so
Hustler.
I picked up the boss battle on that one, and like I think it was Alan, and he just poor guy didn't even have a chance. I think he landed one hit in one of the rounds, and then like kept me from getting a perfect, and that's about it. outside of the stimulus games, like with the Bennigan's, my mother-in-law just retired from her job, and we like we like had a get together, had like a little party, and like I actually like catered that with the Bennigan's. It was
Look at that. Even giving back with your Bennigans, TJ.
and it was nice. It was nice for her to be able to like she's like up in her late 60s, and to be able to just like finally be done with work and just relax and enjoy yourself. And then I was able to take that Bennigan's and just provide a really nice dinner and sort of like small party for us.
Nice.
Awesome.
That's fucking
That's dope.
awesome. Keith,
Great.
why haven't you bought me anything nice with the stimulus games money? You never buy
I got
me
a bunch of
anything
trophies. I got a bunch of trophies here for you.
nice.
They're piling up. I'm just waiting until I see you again so I can present them. I'm gonna wear nothing but a sash and do like a sexy present. I've got plans. It's gonna be good. You're gonna like it.
Nice.
I think my favorite moment was just not being the worst at Power Rangers Battle for the Grid, because I hadn't played it prior to you saying that's going to be the game. So, I was playing it all night, getting ready, and then went in, and you guys were talking hella smack, and then every once in a while you go, oh wait, he's actually doing okay. I love the sound of surprise in your voices. And I didn't do great by any stretch, but I did better than Johnny Taylor, which, by the way, was my goal going into everyone. It wasn't just don't be last, but it was also be better than Johnny Taylor. If I could beat Johnny, I was happy. That's the one person I needed to beat.
That's what I do when I play board games. I pick one person out, and I just focus on at least being not as bad as them. If I can beat them, I'll feel good about myself.
And Johnny's kind of a gamer, but he kept giving excuses like, "Oh, you guys play sports games, I'll dominate." But I was like, "Yeah, well, you're not dominating now." That was pretty fun. Yeah. And I took the money, and we had desperately needed to get another car for a long time. Our Toyota Corolla was dying a very slow and painful death, and so that put us over what we needed to go ahead and make that down payment and get our Nissan Leaf that's sitting in the driveway right now. So really, that made a big difference in our life. Yeah, we were really enjoying it.
That's awesome, man.
All right. Well, the next time I need a ride, I know who to call.
And every time I'm driving this electric vehicle instead of a Toyota Corolla that definitely wouldn't pass smog if I didn't go to that shady place that says pass or don't pay, you'll know that stimulus games are helping to save the world, quite literally. So good job.
That's what we want.
Welcome to the electric vehicle revolution, Keith.
What do you got?
I got a couple Teslas.
Okay. Oh, that's right. You're Tesla. Well, so do I now after this, right? It's not here yet, by the way. I'm watching out the window. It hasn't shown up yet.
It says 256 right now, so we need a little bit more. That's the time of recording. Maybe by the time this recording is aired, GME will have gone to the moon and we'll all have our money hats.
All right.
Fingers crossed. All right. Nevin, man, how about you?
Something that I want to bring up too is that these boss battles, there's no mercy because they're not always just 1-on-1. Sometimes there'll be 2-on-1 or 3-on-1, or they'll just add on.
It's a boss battle, man. You get to the end of the game, the boss doesn't go like, "You win, yay!"
Oh no, and it shouldn't be that way either.
Bosses are scoundrels and villains. They don't care. They don't care about your grandma's cookies. They just want to win. They will throw minions at you. What do you think I'm doing? I'm throwing minions at you every week. I think that's an element of the stimulus games, where it's founded in helping people and doing these positive things, but at the core, we still want to be better than you at video games, damn it.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I have to compare it to like Goro and Shang Tsung in Mortal Kombat. Shang Tsung doesn't wait at the end of the Mortal Kombat like, "Well done, you did a great job." He's like, "I'm gonna fucking eat your soul."
Yep. And having made it 2 times to first place in Brawlhalla, and having to go up against Blake and TJ and just getting my ass handed to me,
nice.
Running it back in Slap City, I got more than a little bit of catharsis after coming on top over 2 people. So that felt good.
Oh yeah.
And then what have you been able to, or you don't have to tell us anything, but what have you done with your stimulus checks?
With that money, man, y'all have helped keep the lights on in my house, and you've helped me pick up some new stuff. I converted half of my living room into my office now. Got some new gear, and that's helped me find some more work online too. So that's just continuing to help me be sufficient. And
Nice.
so I can't thank you guys enough.
Dude, that's fucking awesome. It's like
Great to
kind of
hear.
blowing my mind, honestly, hearing all these experiences. Yeah. And I guess are you looking for more work then, Nevin? Should people hire you? For things?
I mean, I'm open to emails.
All right. Slide into his DMs, folks.
Nice.
Adam, like, you've come in here in season 2, you've been in a handful of games already. Like, what's been like your favorite gamer experience, and like what have you been doing with the stimulus games? You haven't been calling me up to take me out, that's for sure.
I haven't been leaving the house really. I mean, this
Yeah.
last week was the first time I've really left the house. My granddad turned 100 years old, so I flew down to see him. So I
Wow.
guess in a way, I used some of the money to buy a plane ticket for that.
That's cool.
So he turned 100 years old. So
That's
he's
amazing.
doing good. Got all
Yeah.
his teeth, and
That's
he's
so
walking
cool.
around just fine. My favorite was just getting to hang out with all the other people in ska bands. One thing during the pandemic is I feel like there's been a lot more camaraderie through social media and keeping in contact with other band members, which was really nice. And so it was good to get to hang out with all of them, even though I came in last place in literally every game.
Last.
I'm way better at Wreckfest now, though. Now that I know that I can't just run into everything. My car will-
That's good. Well, maybe one day you'll win one, huh, buddy?
Yeah.
Huh, little guy? Maybe one day you'll be the champ.
Put him on with Johnny Taylor.
Oh, maybe
Oh,
we
there you
will.
go.
Maybe we
Shots
will.
fired.
Megaran. What? Well, yeah.
I think
Good question,
favorite
Blake.
moment was jumping into like Pac-Man 99 because it was like a new game and everybody was like so new to it, trying to figure it out. I thought, because I'd had maybe a 24-hour head start on the game, that I'd actually, run away with that one, but I did not. So that was fun. And there's been so many memories of like just crushing defeats or like really close games, particularly Rocket League. I think we had a lot of really, really good memories in that one. But overall, it's just been like just the camaraderie, I think, of these games and the competition that really starts to set in. And Lars with his random facts and notes and questions.
Lars.
Questions
who
about
asked?
ICP. His
Keeping
questions
us-
about ICP immediately followed by the answer. I love
the
it.
answer.
Who asked the best questions on the stimulus games, and why is it MC Lars?
So that was always a fun time. He kept it jovial. That's the same when we're on the road. So
I will
I'm
say,
looking forward to that.
Megaran, just to jump in, watching all of you folks learn how to play Rocket League over the last year has just been
It's
delightful.
adorable. It's
'Cause,
been like watching. It's like watching your child take his first steps.
Yeah, we're all up there falling on our faces, driving the wrong way.
The first nerdcore stimulus games with the Rocket League, horrible. You guys didn't know anything. Like there was like one or two guys that knew what they were doing.
Pretty-
Same thing with
yeah.
the AV team. It was like god awful.
Pretty-
Like they were
pretty
so
horrible.
bad. Like
You're probably
kickoffs were
thinking-
kickoffs
you're
were both
thinking, like-
cars with. All you have to do is drive straight into the ball and then both miss. And we're just like sitting there losing our shit because it's like
You're-
how?
There's a boost button.
You're probably thinking like, this is the worst.
This
This is
existed
the worst
everyone.
content ever. We're like, wait, there's a boost like halfway through the game.
You can jump.
Oh man, it was great. Oh, you can jump.
That all happened.
Oh,
You're
the
right.
handbrake button.
This
The
is the worst
handbrake
Not
content ever.
hyperbole. Oh, that was
Wait,
beautiful.
That's
you
not
can turn
exaggeration.
even tighter?
Yeah.
What? You can boost. But what I've spent it on, every week it was new lights, it was new cameras, it was new streaming equipment to try to get improve. And you could probably see a definite parallel with the quality of my own streams improving as we go through the stimulus games. In the beginning, I was doing a lot of concerts and things and not knowing what I was doing and terrible green screens and all kinds of bad stuff. And then slowly just building up and improving the performance level to a point where I got comfortable with it. And that's been thanks to the stimulus games, man. Of course, I've spent got a few pizzas on Fridays for but yeah, it's mostly been just gear. I've become a real gearhead when it's come to streaming, so it's definitely been thanks in part to a big part to the stimulus games, and so that's kept it going and improved my stream. So if anybody's watched me over the past 12 months plus, you have Shacknews to thank for the improvement.
Awesome.
My menu looks good.
Thank you.
Man, I've had so many great moments, man, doing this week to week. I don't know. It's a great experience. Like I know Asif's like the financial provider and like the reason that we're able to do this, but like I feel like I get to kind of be the medium, right? Like I'm the person like connecting with artists and stuff like that and bringing people in and trying my best to like find a good balance of folks and expand our community at the same time, which is something I've really loved about season 2. Like I came in really gung-ho and ambitious about everything we've been doing, and I feel like it's one of the most important things I do every week. And like hearing your guys' stories, like it really just makes me double down on that. It's fantastic to be able to help give back to people I believe in. Not to get too sweet here, but and just to get a little cheesy, my favorite Bennigan's, man, it's like this year, like I have a friend who has like a health problem, and that health problem is never going to go away for this person, and it causes them great physical pain. And one of their bastions of relief is unboxing Pokemon. So I've been able to take some of my Bennigan's wins and through Asif's grace turn those into gifts for my friends so that they can live stream unboxings of all these cards and stuff like that. And like I'm really happy that like I can pass along joy like through the stimulus game. It's really the best part. It makes me feel good. And you can't put a price tag on that shit. I mean, there's money involved here, but I think the bigger message and what's clear from this panel today is that it's really about everyone in a community uplifting each other, having a good time, getting through one of the most chaotic, not just last year, but like the last 4 years of our lives is fucking insane, to say the least. More and not to say that there wasn't insanity and ridiculousness going on before that. I recognize that like society has had a lot of problems, but like finding a bastion of hope, finding some sort of anchor during the pandemic, like having something to look forward to on the weekends, knowing you're going to see, knowing that you're going to have a good time no matter what. Like that's really what it means the most to me. And Asif, I got to take a moment to thank you so much, because your kindness and generosity perpetuates more kindness and generosity. And I feel like the stimulus games is a bastion of that. And with that, Asif, I want to know what's your favorite moment and how much have we been able to give out in total?
Oh God, I didn't run that number. I can tell you that this year in 2021 so far, it's like approaching 40K pretty rapidly. That's been sent out to folks across like all the different games. And that's including like Kieth mentioned, like the reimbursements for game purchases and stuff. Last year it was probably close to 6 figures at the end of the day. If you like think about if you add the Quakeholio tournament into it, which was like a $10,000 prize pool there. My favorite moment, I'm not even gonna say it's a moment. It's just something that when I came to Shacknews, I brought this with me. It's the Bizarro Wolverines. It's a NCAA 2013 Dynasty mode that I've been playing since 2013. I went to the University of Michigan. That was basically the last year they were even remotely relevant. They suck. So I created a team of just monsters. Everyone is like 7 feet, 400 pounds, 99 overall, and everything. You know what I mean? Like my O-line can play quarterback. My D-line could return punts. You know what I mean? Everyone's a great kicker. It's a team that makes no sense on paper. They all look like mutants. It's something I created for fun, and I would just play it. It was like my happy place. Madden has sucked for a long time, so I like to play NCAA 13. That's my happy place. I've been able to turn that game into a charity drive. And I first did that with Extra Life back whenever we were doing Extra Life. We still do Extra Life, but those, I think it's November or whatever. But I do the Bizarre Wolverine streams also for Shackmas, which is our non-denominational Shacknews holiday event, where we give out, instead of charity, I give money directly to our viewers. I call them Space Bucks. You can win $100 if you guess my score without going over. Every time I throw an interception or every time there's a turnover of any kind, we do a trivia question, and if you answer the trivia question first, you get $20. So the way I pivoted this for the stimulus games, there were some weekends where people were busy, or it was the 4th of July, or, just we needed a break. Blake needed a break. Blake had COVID or something, there were times where we needed to break it up. And I was able to just come in and stream the Bizarro Wolverines. And they were some of my favorite streams. We raised a lot of money for different charities. What I did, instead of you receiving the money, I said, you get to pick the charity. So, we gave money to homeless shelters, RAIN, all sorts of different things. The ALS Society, Alzheimer's Society, like thousands of dollars were given to all these different charities because I was playing a football video game. So I personally, that was my favorite thing, because I'm not getting paid to do this, but I was able to, like you said, it's a pay it forward kind of scenario. I've always been of the opinion that I got lucky. It's not like I deserve all of this. I'm entitled to all of this wealth. I got lucky. I could have sold Apple after the iPod, and there's no E5 if that happens. You know what I mean? Things. Obviously, I had to make those decisions, and there were educated things that led to that. But I look at my life path that got me here, and I'm like, there's so much that I should be thankful for, and I don't think it's just it's not as simple of just going outside and thanking God. You can actually do something with wealth in this society. And I knew last year especially that money was tight for a lot of people. And I'm not bragging. It wasn't tight for me. I saw this shit. I had raised cash for a stock market crash before it happened. So Shacknews was never at risk during the pandemic. We lost 90% of our revenues last year that we expected.
Damn.
And we, not once did we miss a paycheck to our staff or hosting fees or anything. And it's because I was prepared for this. And so I was like, I'm prepared for this, but we had a budget. And I was like, we should do something with this. A more greedy company pockets that and says, well, on to the next one. I was like, no, we can do something here. And this conversation has basically been rock solid proof that it helped. It undeniably helped. And random acts of kindness should be encouraged. Like, we should be more selfless as a society, especially in American society. Especially in American society that currently is in like a gold rush. Everyone's trying to make the next... Everyone's trying to flip AMC or GME or Doge or whatever right now. It's like we all got gold fever. And I'm just like, as someone who has made money, I'm like, how can I help people? What can I do? Like, you know, because I'm not greedy. I feel like I did my thing. And obviously, like, I own a business, and maybe someday I'll be able to monetize the value of Shacknews, you know? But, like, in the interim, I like doing, and Blake, you know this, like, I like doing cool shit. I want to do cool, fun shit that makes people happy. And, like, this is an example of that. And it came out of that, TJ, like, you nailed it. That John Wick rage that was inside of, I imagine, all of us last year, where you don't understand, like, I had been CEO of this company for 6 years at the time. We were finally seeing that, like, chance.
I don't want to like get too deep into it, but yeah, Asif and I had been planning a ton of shit for the year COVID hit, like 6 months before it hit. We were like deep in the next steps of like Shacknews' evolution, and then everything happened, and this is, I can't think of a better pivot, honestly.
Yeah, like, we've done a lot, and honestly, there's more pivots to come. But because there was a two-prong approach. There was what we're doing on the dev side, and then there was the events. So, like, we continue to work on the dev side, kind of behind the scenes, but the events had to be put on hold, and it's different, you know, like, we don't have a physical E3 this year. There's not a physical QuakeCon this year. There's not a physical Comic-Con this year, most likely. And we'll see what happens with PAX, you know, but, like, I think that this year, this is the year where we kind of sit back and we watch what happens. But next year, fucking watch out, motherfuckers.
And with that, I think that's the perfect place for us to wrap up. I'd like to.
You're not going to get a counterpoint?
No, shut up, Keith. That's your counterpoint. I'm trying to wrap this up here. Hey, who's the moderator here? Kieth Lowell Jensen or Blake Morse? That's what I thought. Okay. I'd like to thank.
He has 3 names.
Yeah, I got 4 names. I got 4 names. We'll talk about it after this. I'll tell you. I'll let everyone in on my 4th name that I don't. But no, really, I just did one after this. Let me wrap it up. Oh my God. I don't know. This has been fantastic. There were a lot of really heart-touching moments I didn't expect today from this, and I think that's part of the beauty and wonder of what Shacknews does and what the Stimulus Games is doing. I just would like to thank all of our panelists for being here today. I'd like to thank everybody watching right now. If you want to watch the Stimulus Games, it's basically every Saturday, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Eastern. We got a plethora of talented creators, artists, AV squad people, members of our community. And they all get their butts kicked by me and TJ in the boss battles, basically. And if they don't, well, you're definitely going to want to get a bucket of popcorn to watch that sauce hit the fan.
We provide the salt.
And of course, Asif, thank you once again for being able to sort of be a pillar for us throughout all this stuff, because we remove you from the equation and there's no Stimulus Games.
Like, I just want to say, because I went on medical leave in September last year, but I had been hosting a lot of Stimulus Games for a while, and it's exhausting. It's a very tiring thing.
I'm very tired all the time.
to coordinate, to get the games ready, to get the OBS scenes ready, to make sure it all works, to get the parties up and running. It's exhausting, and I just appreciate the whole team stepping in and continuing it, but you especially, because I know you've been running it, TJ too, for stepping in as a great co-host. Bill for coming in for boss battles, and like I know Scancor is always there too. Like having that support from the team has been super helpful in this time. Like I know you've also stepped up. You and Bill Lavoie have both stepped up as co-EICs, and I think you guys are doing a great job there too. So I just wanted to
We got that on
guys.
recording too.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I'll take it. Thank you.
But yeah, like I just think it's last year and this year continues to be challenging for a lot of people, myself included, and it's nice. I really do enjoy. I enjoy watching the stimulus games on Saturday and just talking shit in Twitch chat. It's been fun.
There you go. And hopefully everybody watching here today enjoys them as well. And we hope you enjoyed this panel. Stick around. We have more content coming up for you today. I don't know what it is because this was recorded in the past. And if it's the last thing we did today,
Blake, it's great. It's great content.
It's great
Stick
content.
around. You're gonna love it.
Yeah.
You're gonna love it. It's
All
great
right.
content.
And with that, why don't we do it? Why don't we get everybody to say "Do it for Shack News" on the count of 3, and we'll call it a day. 1, 2, 3. Do it for Shack
News.
Hey.
Hey.
Oh, hey.
Hit on it, internet.